controlling your value, how hard work is no longer the competitive advantage. And we had taken our time a bit extensively to look intrinsically at what value is, the perception of value, and the misinterpretation of value, basically, or pretty much. Now, moving forward, and just to give like a quick summary and like a quick recap on that part, your value, your value, your value, what you regard as your value, is you being true to yourself, projecting it to solve the problem of others. That is what that's what value is, basically, right? Being true to yourself, projecting it, refining it to solve the problem of others. That's what we can say, oh, this person is valuable. So if you've been wondering why people that you project in the world, and again, the terminology the world that we'll be using is social media, people that you feel are not up to your standard, why it looks like they're achieving so much, being recognized for so much, is number one, what you're comparing the standard of value to, comparing yourself as in terms of value on the value scale. People that you feel have not really amassed or are not up to your standard in terms of knowledge wise, or even being true to yourself, or in terms of what they portray out there to people as value. And they're getting a lot of followers and all that, because to you, in your worldview, you feel being valuable is my likes, my followers, and whatnot now. And I'm saying in that category of people you compare yourself with, that you feel they don't really have much to offer, and yet they're having followers, they're having this and they're having that. And I said, is it those kind of people you want to subscribe to your value? Think about it. How about you compare yourself with those that are really on your same value scale, that now have followers? You know what, that they actually, it took more for them to get there. And that should be your standard, not the mediocrity, not the masses, not the. Do you understand? It's very important that you understand the concept of value in retrospect to what the world has portrayed as value. Because let me shift a bit, just a tiny bit, talking about the demons of this age. Like I said, maybe another time we'll speak about this, where there'll be a narrative where, oh, look at that person, he's not even putting effort into maybe reading, becoming better or anything like that, and yet they have followers, they have this, they have that. The truth is, in the numbers, really, how many of them that does something that actually lasts? Think about it. It's not a thing of virality, it's a thing of value. All right. Now let's just jump right into it, and why I said hard work is no longer the competitive advantage. There's a clip, but don't let me even, let me just go right into it because of our time. We just have like 30 minutes left. We've already exceeded the time span for this couple. 30 minutes. There's a video I saw, this 4 college students. It's from a movie, classic movie. Some of you probably know this movie I'm talking about. You've probably watched it. They were trying to be entrepreneurial, grind and all that, they started their own thing, it failed and all that. So in the entrepreneurial, just trying to get a job, do something just to fetch them money at the very least, they saw an old veteran that said, hey guys, I'm gonna pay you $300, that's $300, to remove the stump from the front of my yard. How many of you know that movie? You know the clip I'm talking about? You've probably seen it on Instagram Shorts or YouTube Shorts or TikTok. And they were super excited. Do you know what $300 was for them at that time? It was big money. Immediately, without thinking twice, they collected the money and they say, ah, yes, sir. Easy money. To them, they were like, oh, this is like easy money because we're young guys, we're energetic. What is the stump of a tree that we cannot give 20, 30 minutes, maximum an hour? We'd figure it would get it out of there. So they took $100 to invest in tools. They bought shovels, they bought axe, diggers, and they got to work. They thought it was going to be like an easy job. They started hitting it from side. They did this, they did this, they did that. It didn't work. They went to buy more tools. They spent more money, like an extra $100. Remember, there are 4 guys. He did. Nothing was happening. At that point, they already spent over 6 hours already. At that point, they had spent 6 hours trying to remove the stump of that tree. It is not about hard work. Not necessarily about hard work anymore. Now, for those of you that followed me for a while, you know how I love to, whenever I'm trying to pass a message or put a message across, I like to give the foundation first, like the underlying first. Now, let me put this in a way that you fully understand what I'm trying to say. And you get it in the most simplest form. Before now, all right? Before now, anything that has to do with success in any form, that's worthwhile, that would be long lasting, has to take time, has to take effort, has to take hard work. Really, look at even from the previous generations, any one of them that built something substantial for themselves, it was that consistent level of hard work, grinding. Because if you stay at it long enough, now don't get me wrong, I'm not disputing the fact of, I'm not saying hard work is no longer in vogue or consistency. But see that idea that I just need to work like hard. It's no longer a competitive advantage necessarily. So what is the competitive advantage? It's value. How do I mean? The definition of what value is these days has changed depending on the context. I mentioned earlier that what you compare yourself with, or what you compare yourself to, hold on, I think I need to give this a bit. Okay. What you compare yourself to in that world, what becomes valuable to them can be mediocre to you. What is valuable, what is value to you on that end might be pride, might be doing too much. In different contexts, where drawing inference from the previous generations, just like I mentioned, you had to work. Say, for instance, to hit your first $1 million in traditional, let's say, sales, you need to pick up the phone to call. It will probably take you a year or 2 in terms of number. But we're now in an age where the work of 1,000 people over the span of, let's say, 3 months, which is like 1 quarter, can now be done in an hour with artificial intelligence, for instance. Think about that. Because we've been painted the idea that, for instance, let's say, in this case, let's say like the sales part or the entrepreneurial part or anything, we know it has to do with number over a particular period of time. Why? Because as humans, we have limitations. There's so much you can get done in a day. Hence, The reason why it takes time, because we are humans, we are limited. So that's why to cross certain milestones, certain level of success takes a reasonable amount of time. Why? Because of the limitation of the human body. Even if you have, that's why there's now the leverage of, oh, if you have money, you can now employ other people. But you have to have so much of money if you want to attain that thing in the shortest period of time. Under the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right mentorship. But now the thing is, the right knowledge, the right frame of mind, the right expertise, that's the word. It takes time still to gain that level of expertise, to build organizations, to build conglomerates, to build an empire. It takes years, books. But now we're in an age where the knowledge a billionaire has accumulated all his life, in terms of accumulation, in terms of knowledge, over the span of 35 years, hard work, grinding, tireless night studying, up all night you're studying, you know, you're reading to become successful. That span of years of 35 years can now be diluted in an hour, in a day. Of course, not for human beings, for AI agents in this case. So hard work can no longer now be the yardstick of success, because hard work only came as the yardstick of success because of the limitation of the human body, the human mind, and the limitation of access to certain information and technologies. Another story, look at the ark in the Bible. Popular story. Look at how long it took Noah to build the ark. How long do you think you would need to take him in this day and age? With the right? With the right knowledge, right expertise, right wisdom. In very little amount of time. We would build the ark in today's world in 1/5 of the time, 1/4 of the time, and the effort and the energy exasperated. Why? Now we have equipment. Now we have robots that can help us do this faster. Hope we're tracking. Hope you're understanding. That's why I had to really dilute and distill what values and then past and then now. Hope you're seeing it in this perspective. So you can see it's not necessarily about hard work per se any longer. It is about value. It is about leverage. It's about leverage. So that would mean in the story dimension of, you know, those 4 young boys that were just looking for money, and, you know, they collected the $300 without even thinking twice, without looking at the problem, without understanding the problem, and they just collected it and say, oh, with hard work, they're going to get it. 6 hours have gone. They are nowhere. They are not even halfway to removing the stump of that tree, and they've already spent 2/3 of the money. So in this case, in what I'm proposing, how does that now translate to, okay, value and then leverage? In that case, they're not just meant to just take the money like that. They'll go to the tree. They'll assess the situation. They will assess the situation. Call in an expert, someone that has the tools, probably the machinery, and say, hey, you have the machine for this. How much will it take to, you know, pull this stump out of this place? And the guy says, oh, well, with my equipment, with probably my caterpillar, my bulldozer, I can get it out, let's say in an hour. Pay me $300. Fair enough. You go back to the old man. All right, hey sir, how fast do you want? How much of an issue is this, thing, like what is really disturbing? You can even escalate the, not necessarily escalate is not the word. Let him really see that, you see, even if, especially when they're not really seeing the pain of why that problem needs to be removed. Make them see this thing needs to be removed. I say, hey, listen, I know initially you wanted to pay me $300 and we have the whole day to do it. However, check it out. This is something that would take more time and we need the right tools and the base. Give me $500 and in an hour's time, get it out of there. We're going to patch back the whole, everything to look like there was never a stump there. That sounds more reasonable. You can even say, oh, listen, we've done this in the past before, this is not our first rodeo. We have expertise. It is not lying because the person I'm bringing him to remove it has expertise. So you can see, positioning myself in a place of value. And then leverage, me not exasperating my strength, but contracting. Now, over the years, we've seen how success has now been tied to value, in the sense that I think some couple weeks back, I was watching on YouTube, I think it was Mr. Beast, right? They were trying out odd jobs and how much it pays per hour. And one of the highest paid of those jobs was a hand model. A hand model. She models for products, not even her face, just her hand. And she gets paid up to $1 million in a year. It's crazy, I know. Value. The traditional hard work to get a job or to do service that would bring you in $1 million in a year. In the traditional sense of what hard work is, you would work, and you would work. You never have time for vacation. You would. It's not even about exerting your strength any longer. You're exerting yourself. You are giving yourself, all of yourself. But yet, a lady somewhere just by showcasing her hands with products, she gets paid up to $1 million a year. And it's not as if she has to go into shoot every day. Maybe in 12, maybe in a month, maybe just once or twice, or let's say 4 times in a month. A couple studio sessions of that. So the idea of hard working as a competitive advantage is dead. People are looking to hire people or bring people on board that can identify trends before they happen. People that can pick up on trends. Imagine investing in Bitcoin far back as 2008. Well, I know even that's even far-fetched because it took a while for it to, make the move and all that. How about before there's a particular trend, you could recognize pattern and say, based on the news I'm seeing and all that, the stock market is going to crash. Or there's going to be this particular product, this particular stock is going to shoot up. Invest in it. And invest $1,000. And in the space of 24 hours, you've done 300%. You know the hard work it would take to turn $1,000 to more than 300% in 24 hours? So your ability to be able to leverage the time, the effort, the connections of other people, that's basically leverage. And then value how you perceive yourself. This time last year, this time last year, I was working 2 jobs, 2 remote jobs, getting paid in today's in the now currency would be around let's say $200 a month. Yeah, around $200 a month. Yeah, two jobs, two jobs, and it seemed very justifiable. I remember the first job after I'd finished interning and it was time for me to like resume at full time, and then I go to the management for that I really can't do with this amount. I would need at least like double of this. And the narrative was, I'm still a young guy, fresh, this is, do you know the average person what they earn now? Don't you know this is a solid job? Don't you know it's a solid job? Value, perceived value, more important. Then I sat back, I was like, nah. I looked into my world and the service and what people could offer. And I like, I can do this too. I have done this. But because I've not been able to position myself as valuable, that's valuable. See, people do not necessarily pay you based on your value, rather based on perceived value. Remember earlier today, I made a post on my LinkedIn um, where I was using Google search, using the AI mode, just to research about me and my brand and the services I offer and all that. And and it brought up a reference from Contra. Now, Contra is like a freelancing platform, like your Upwork, you know. And it was, I'd opened a Contra account way back as like 5, 6 years ago, offering consulting service as well, and like marketing services and all that. And I remember what was there, what was still there because after since that abandoning, but it was still there. So Google brought it as an inference to like what I do now and like consulting, or how I do it at $30 per hour. And I just smelled, oh, look at this, just look at this. Like way back then, this I felt $30 per hour was based on what I could see at that time. But the more I allowed myself to visualize, to enlighten myself, to expand and expose myself to my world, the world that I really fit in, where I am true to myself. Remember what I said about value? Really, that's when things really shifted. Because way back then, I was seeing $30 per hour, something else. Listen. Now, per hour, we do, right? We do over $2,000. Even though that is still, nah, but still, I'm just saying, look at the disparity. Perceived value. There was a time earlier in my career where I was a video editor. Editing videos was like, okay, maybe, do stuff, a project, still be hustling for $50, $20, $30. Really what shifted was, I remember one time there was a gig I had to do, I think that was last month or something like that. Yeah, I just called the price, I think up to like $1,000 thereabout. He paid. Perceived value. It's not necessarily about how good you will put in the work, but the hard work should be towards becoming. It should be towards you being true to yourself rather than the work you have to exert. That you'd have done so much. Look at this context. I have to wrap up soon. That you'd have done so much work internally. Imagine you're a small car, and then you've done so much work in building the car to be a bulldozer. to be a truck, a tractor. That in 1 minute or at one trip, that tractor can, the work done in an hour, that little car, it will probably take it 5 hours. That you have worked hard so much on becoming, on refining that value you have on the inside of you, that when you now say per hour you want to charge $2,000, it's because the work done in an hour will be so much more than. Do you understand? And it has to start from you recognizing intrinsically your value. So now on the outside, it might look like, oh, yes, you are doing so much work, but to you, it's not necessarily that so much work. Because to a tractor, it's not really. Do you understand? Imagine trying to, let's say, move sand from location A to B. A tractor will move tons of sand, and it won't necessarily be a pressure on the engine or on the tractor compared to when you put half ton on a small car. It will feel it, even the speed, the everything. Of course, for the tractor, you feel it, but it was built for that. So to it, it's not really doing much work. It's doing what it's meant to do. So at one sweep, so much is being done. Compared to the little car, at one sweep, it does so little. So it's not so much as of exerting so much hard work. It's just so much as of positioning yourself, leverage. Like those 4 boys, you're not the one necessarily digging and doing the work. Leverage, you can now do the work. Now there's artificial intelligence. You can literally start a business from scratch to finish from the comfort of your room. Leverage. And once you can do that, you have proof of concept, you're able to, let's say, generate $5,000, $10,000 perceived value. People will not be willing to pay you to teach them. So where did the work really come in? It was you in learning and taking your time to do that thing, which in retrospect to the traditional making money on hustling is very little. It's very somewhat negligible. Because someone from the comfort of his room is making $10,000, $20,000 compared to someone that wants to hard work. How long do you think it will take them to make that amount of money, and how long? So hard work is no longer a competitive advantage. Being true to yourself is. Your uniqueness is what you bring to the table that no one can. The way you see things that nobody can. All right? Your ability to spot and recognize patterns, to catch up on trend early enough, foundationally to solve problems. To solve problems, I don't necessarily have to be the one to get my hands dirty. I can have other people do it, but I'm the one that solve the problem. I don't even necessarily have to have the money for it. I can say, hey, how much do you charge to do this, so? Oh, you charge $10,000. All right. Hi, sir. To solve this your problem, I charge $15,000, and I'll do it in X number of time. Give me the money, $10,000. Give the people, they solve the problem. Who solved the problem? I did. Under my supervision. Now, normally, if you had just brought them, they might probably not know what to do. But based on the way I see things and the way I reason and the way I've worked on myself to think and to take decisions, I can say, hey, rather than doing it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. Let me end with this. There was an engineer, he built a unique generator for a company. He usually does that for certain companies in a particular industry. And of course, he's going to charge them huge amounts for the build. And it's contingent that that generator is serviced per time, from time to time, is being maintained. So every month, the engineer comes, charges about, let's say, $10,000 to service it, and goes. After obviously he has collected a huge amount to build the generator. And one of the managers, he observed something. He said, "This what you're doing is not fair." He said, "How so?" He said, "Every month you come, you collect $10,000 from us to service this generator, but you don't spend up to an hour. You just come, you just tap this, tap this, tap this, tap that, and you're done." And then the engineer smiled and he said, look, you can call me to come and tap this, tap this, tap that. I'll probably charge you $100 or $500. But knowing what to tap, where to tap it, how to tap it, that is what I charge $10,000 for. Value. It's not about hard work. Value. Leverage. The ability to solve problems. To be perceived as value. So guys, we had a lot of glitches here and there, but from the next one, oh my god, so many comments on on YouTube. Indeed, it takes time to gain experience, knowledge, wisdom. Yeah. Yes, the shift from external perfection. Exactly. I'm so sorry, today our time actually got cut short. There was so much should have delivered in today's episode, but due to technical difficulty here and there, we have to draw the curtains on today's episode. But I am so glad at least you all got some value from today's session. For those of you that are in the community, I think I have a couple questions in the virtual studio here with me. If you like to, ask question, I mentioned because I said we're meant to have our first meet that was yesterday, but it totally skipped my head. I had a meeting, so this was my way of making it up to you guys. So, in just the next 5 minutes, if you have questions, I'll take. If you have questions, those on YouTube, please type it out, okay? But for those of you in the studio here with me on Google Meet here, you can kindly unmute, ask question if there's something that was not really clear or something you need more clarification on. Kindly unmute, ask. All right, you're live here on YouTube. If there's something you also need to feel you want to share with us, you want to share your thoughts, please, you can do that as well. You can do that as well. So those of you in the studio here with me, let me know if there are questions. Are there any questions? You can probably just let me know. Let me know if there's something you need to, you want to add something to the conversation. Those of you on YouTube as well, if you have questions, please type it out. Please hope you guys can still hear me so we can draw the curtains for tonight, please. Feel free just unmute your mic, ask your question, or put in whatever contribution there is. You have to because that's why you're in the studio here with me. Thank you to you all that have been following on YouTube. Thank you so much. And see Walasha Day. I can see Aldrin. I can see Daniel. Daniel, yes. I can see Daniel. Jason. Any. Thank you all. Thank you all. Glad you guys got value from today's live session. So I want to assume there are no questions from those of us or no contribution whatsoever from those in the studio here with me, right? Okay, 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 okay. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining. We would ensure that next week we have less or no technical difficulty at all. Thank you also very much. I remain your hosts, Dari Salami, and this has been wonderful. Next week is going to be super awesome. So please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Um, every Saturday like this, we meet for control shifts, where we take control, make the shift, stay ahead. We talk every and anything AI, career, future of work, self development, basically becoming better and staying ahead. Thank you also very much. Do have a wonderful night, wonderful day from wherever you're watching from, or for whatever time you will be watching this from. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I see you all on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around despite the whole technical, disruptions. Thank you. To have good night. Rest and bye for now.